You're welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm cutting a trouser for senator. So if you're a beginner and you want to know how to do it, here is the right place to come, and it is very easy. The measurement that I'm using, I'm not going to use the waist measurement because it's going to be an elastic band waist. So I only need the length of the trouser, which is 38 inches for this pattern. Then I need the thigh circumference measurement, which is 24. I need the knee circumference, which is 16, and then the ankle circumference, which is 14 inches. So let's start. The first thing I'm going to do is to measure 2 inches, which I'm going to use for the elastic band. So I've measured 2 inches, and it's also my waistline, so I'll rule it. Then the next thing is to measure the length of the trouser. From the waistline down, the length is 38 inches. This is 38 inches. Then I will add 2 inches down, which is going to for the hemming. 2 inches for the hemming. So that is that. So I'm going to rule my ankle line too. Very good. So I've ruled my ankle line as well. Then the 2 inches that is down, you can rule it, and you can also leave it since it's actually the end of the pattern. If you need to join your pattern because of the length, feel free to do it because it's going to be long and your own length could be longer than this. All right, now back to the top again. So I've done the 2 inches for elastic band. I've measured the length, which is 38 inches, and I've also added 2 inches for the hemming. The next thing now is to measure the crouch depth. The crouch depth is 10 inches. The crouch depth is 10 inches. So from the waistline, I'm going to measure 10 inches down. So this is 10 inches, and I'm going to rule it. On this crouch line, I'm going to measure my thigh circumference. The thigh circumference for this trouser is 24 inches. 24 divided by 2 is 12. So I measure 12 inches, which ends here. So the next thing now is going to measure my knee circumference. The knee circumference is going to be on my knee length. How do I get my knee length? I'm going to find what is between my crouch line and my ankle line. Here I have 28 inches, divided it by 2, which is 14. 28 divided by 2 is 14. Then I'll subtract 1 from it, which is going to be 13. So I have 13 here. So that's going to be my knee line. Then I'm going to rule it as well. So what I'm going to do now is to connect the lines together. Now for me to measure my knee circumference, now I've already ruled a line on my knee length. So for my knee circumference, the knee circumference is 16 rather. 16 divided by 2 is 8. But before I measure the 8, I'll measure ½ inch here. Then I'll measure the 8 inches, which is here. Then on my ankle circumference, I'm going to measure 1 inch first. Then ankle circumference is 14 divided by 2, which is 7. I measure 7. So what I need to do now is to connect all these dots together with my ruler. Then I'll also come upward to do my crouch depth. How do I get my crouch depth? I measured thigh circumference, which was 24 divided by 2, which is 12. Then I'm measuring 2 inches backward. This is 2 inches backward, and it's on these 2 inches that I ruled up. Now the next thing is to make a curve here. Then I'll connect all my lines together. If you have a long ruler, it's better, so you can be able to do it accurately well. So I'm coming here to connect my lines. Very good. So I have all my lines connected again, so I can now cut my trousers. This is the front pattern. We now use it to cut the back pattern. Very good. So now this is the front pattern, so I'm going to use it to cut the back pattern. Now the first thing you do is to position it on the pattern paper, and make sure you pin so it won't give you issues. Just pin it down so it will be firm, and so it won't give you issues, although you still need to move it. But let me trim the back first. You know the back is already shaped, so it can be equal. So at least I need the pin to trim this back out first. Then the next thing to do now is to measure 3 inches in front of the crouch line. I'm using 2.5. For bigger people you can use 3 inches. So for this trousers I'm using 2.5. So this is 2.5 in front of the crouch line. In front of the knee line, I'm using 2 inches, and then in front of the ankle line, I'm using 1.5. Now, so I'm going to remove the pin. Remove the pin because I need to move this again. So I'm using this, so I'm going to shift the crouch part to the front. Just shift it to the front where you have your 2.5 inch where it ended. Then use the curve part of the crouch to mark it so the two can be equal. Yes, that is okay. Then you can also use the leg of the front part. You can see the way I position it. Just be noting my dot. So you can use that one too to trace, so the leg too can be the same. You can see here is my knee line, here is my ankle line. Remember the things that I dotted there. In front of my knee line, I added 2 inches. In front of my ankle line, I added 1.5. In front of my crouch line, I added 2.5. So now I have my back pattern ready, and the last thing to do is just to cut it. Remember, I first of all shaped the back. So there's the front part that I'm shaping now. It's just as easy. The real measurements are the front part. This back pattern is just to use the front pattern to trace out the back, and then make sure you add